Marlene Cloud is no stranger to making history. Nearly 2 decades ago, the 81-year-old residential school survivor was the chief complainant in a class action lawsuit that helped to propel the abuses and atrocities of residential schools to the forefront. Now, in 2021, she's making history again.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Marlene Cloud is packing her suitcase for a trip she never thought she'd be making.
I think Ottawa's the farthest I've ever been.
And now you're gonna hop on a plane and go all the way to Europe.
Yes, I guess that's what I'm gonna do.
Marlene and 12 other delegates from the Assembly of First Nations, alongside Métis and Inuit leaders, were supposed to be en route today for the Vatican and for a private audience with the Pope. Rising COVID numbers postponed this long-anticipated and historic trip. But Cloud still can't believe she was even asked to go.
I didn't even believe it right away, but then I thought, well, it's because of the lawsuit why they decided to ask me.
Marlene was the chief complainant in Cloud versus Canada, a landmark class action lawsuit against the Canadian government, Anglican Church of Canada, and several others. It sought compensation for a range of abuses and violations suffered by children at the Mohawk Institute, a residential school near Brantford.
And it turned out it was way bigger.
The lawsuit helped spur the residential school survivors' settlement, contributing to the creation of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, which ultimately called for a papal apology for the Catholic Church's role in residential schools.
Whether they were Anglican or Catholic, they were all run the same. They were all treated the same way, abused and starved, beaten.
Although it's been nearly 70 years since Marlene was forced to attend the school, she's still hurting.
They just would come along and swing their strap if they heard us. We were told that we couldn't talk in our language. We were actually told that. We had to learn a new language, and that was English. They took away our name, and they gave us a number.
It was a common practice at the nearly 140 residential schools across Canada, an exercise in cultural genocide practiced on an estimated 150,000 Indigenous, Métis, and Inuit children. Marlene and several of her siblings were taken from Kettle and Stony Point in the late 1940s. She was only 6 years old.
All I remembered over those years was nobody loved me.
For decades, Marlene kept her abuse a secret.
I put everything behind a curtain.
That curtain is slowly opening for Marlene and for millions of Canadians who are only now learning these dark secrets of Canada's not-so-distant history.
They didn't show any love to us. We had to live without love.
And while Marlene won't get her audience with the Pope just yet, she says regardless of his words, she is concentrating on one thing.
I have to forgive people for what happened, because if I don't, I'll never be happy. I want to be happy.
In Kettle and Stony Point, Christina Howard, City News.